Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Yes, we can start discussions. Anyone can start. Anyone who wants to start? If someone is talking, you're on mute.
Sir, before that, I wanted to make one request. In one of this, now when we are discussing, I also wanted to understand the meaning of Nirvana Shatkam.
Okay.
If you remember, when we started Vivekachudhamani, we had a brief discussion about Nirvana Shatkam. But we have not discussed that, so maybe in any one of the lectures, if we can also a perspective. I also got a book of Swamiji on Nirvana Shaktam. But
we can
still
no, today also we can discuss that. See, in summary, Nirvana Shatkam is more a concept of eliminating things that we are not and mentioning as to who we are. That's all. So that's what it is actually. So if you see all that is mentioned there, you will see list of anitya vastus, which we say we are not, and we say tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloham. That Shiva, only one Shiva, that nitya vastu is me, is myself. So Shiva, when we translate from that line, it is not Shiva with Swarupa, with a particular given Swarupa, whether it is in the form of Ardhanarishvara or whether it is in Mahashiva alone, with whatever robes he has, Damru, Chandra. So none of those things. So Shiva mentioned there is Atma Swarupa, Nirvikalpa and Nirguna. So that Shiva is what is mentioned there. It is not Shiva with form. So the entire lines, if you see, you will have set of Anitya Vastus being said that I am none of these things, and Tadeka Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham. So that is how it will be mentioned. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. So basically, I am Chit, and Ananda is only mentioned because of the pursuit only. It is indicated that at the end of the pursuit, once you arrive at yourself, you are not going to feel dukkha. That's the reason. At least it is mentioned that actually saying that, at the end of the pursuit, knowing yourself, you will only be happy. Because of that Ananda has to be always used there. Chidananda Swarupa Shivoham Shivoham. So Chit is oneself, Atma is Chit, and the Chit only is Shiva, and he is of the nature of Ananda only. So Chit, Ananda, Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. So when we say Chit Rupa, what is the Rupa of Chit? Rupa of Chit is that it is Arupa. That is the Rupa of Chit. So it is of Chit Rupa, that's all. Chidananda Rupa, Shivoham, Shivoham. Ananda cannot have Rupa in any case. And in any case, Ananda is more an adjective, though used as a noun. And actually the noun kind of, if at all, can be attributed. It can be attributed only to the Chit. And Chit as a person, not as a thing. And Chit as a person, none other than oneself. Not as a second person, it's just oneself. So that's the crux of Nirvana Shatkam. Nirvana Shatkam and Dashashloki, I think they both have a similar format. It's just that I think Shankaracharya said that in different times, that's all. But the format is exactly the same. You are on mute, Manishji.
I am saying Dashashloki I have not read as of now.
Huh.
So
Dashashloki and Nirvana Shatkam, they are almost the same format. One has 10 set of shlokas, Dashashloki. Other one has 6. Shatkam, that's why it's called Shatkam. Otherwise, the format is just the same. Crux is just the same actually. So in all this, all that he says is that I am none of these Anitya Vastu. I am that Nitya Vastu which is ever Nitya. That's all he says. So when he uses the word Shiva, that's where one has to be very clear. When he says Tadeko Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham, that's the last line in all the lines coming in Dashashloka. In Nirvana Shatkam, he uses Chidananda Rupa Shivoham, Shivoham. That's all. And when he says Shiva, he means Nirguna Brahma, not the one with form. So that clarification alone one has to very clearly see, because many times, since we come from a different background where we have been introduced to gods with forms, when they are interchangeably used, one has to specify that it is not being used in the sense of with guna. It is Nirguna Brahma, that is what is being mentioned. That has to be said very clearly. Otherwise it will become like, just imagine if we say that Shankaracharya said that he is Shiva. Okay? If that is taken literally, then there will be a big fight going. Okay, he says he is Shiva. Anyway, it doesn't matter to me, because in any case I am a Vishnu worshipper. So it doesn't matter to me. So what is the point? I don't need to listen to the entire system at all. Yes, Sonia, please go ahead. You have something to say.
Bhaskarji, actually I was reading the 11th chapter in which Bhagavan Krishna has shown his Virat Swarup.
Okay.
And it is almost like in that Swamiji is writing that when people who are who are more into the Dvait or the form worship, so it is more relevant, but it is also relevant to the people who are, they should read it more carefully actually, who are into pursuit of Brahman, or you can say want to go to the formless thing. And therein Bhagavan is Krishna is showing his Virat Swarup. He has described the Rupa as which has no end. When Arjun sees, there is no direction. It is only him and nothing else. And there he is also describing that he's got those multiple. First, the thing is that it is only the beautiful part Arjun could see. Arjun could see everything. So he's seeing only the beautiful part, and he's mesmerized. But soon he sees that he's got multiple layers of teeth, and everything is going inside his mouth, and is even it's a Ugra Roop, where the jivas are there in between the teeth, some stuck there and all. And then Arjun gets scared also by seeing all that destruction. And but as you are saying that when Shiva and Krishna, just now you said Shiva should not be confused with the form, with somebody with a trident and the Ganga on the head, the waving nose. And here also Krishna is not the way we know him, with a flute or with a more pankha. That Krishna which Arjun is seeing now has got no end. He is beyond description. And everything is in him. And Arjun first gets mesmerized and then gets scared because there's so much of destruction happening in it, and jivas are just going in his mouth and they all are stuck there, and that Swarup is not feeling sad about it with that destruction. Rather, he seems to be enjoying, because his tongue is coming out and is licking his lips with multiple tongues which are there, So, and when Arjun sees this, so it is like again, Arjun now prays to him that I am getting scared. Please come back to the form I know. So, it's just saying, Krishna also. If it's very important that, when I think of when we say Krishna, Krishna is with a more punk and a flute,
Yes.
but when he sees the Virat Swarup which he is, everything is in me. And then he said, that is also me. That Krishna is actually, that's a real me, the ultimate me. So, and beautifully Arjuna even says that, when you are this, how can destruction be there in you? And then he says, everything is in me, whether it is creation or destruction or sustenance. So it has to be in me, and it even answers the questions. When we say, if God is there, then why there is dukkha? If God is there, then why this is happening? Because he's saying everything is in me. So again, this thing gets dropped. Then that, who is Krishna? Is it the one we know, the Sukh Swarup, the Anand, the pleasurable form, which gives, or is it the ultimate self? So again, this distinction is also there. I just wanted to add that let's Shiva, the moment we say Shiva, it's that. Krishna, it's that. Rama, it's that.
Yes. Agree. Yes, Manishi, you want to say something? Or Shikha?
Yeah. I just wanted to say, so when we talk of Param Brahma, when we talk of Brahma, that is Nirakar Nirgun, means it is one step above the forms which we know.
Yes.
There is no form. That is the ultimate energy. That is the ultimate thing. So there is no form. Everything goes into Brahm. Even Shiva, Vishnu, Brahma, they are also part of that same Param Brahma.
Yes.
So they have originated from that only. But when we are talking of Param Brahma, it's even beyond the way we know them.
Yes.
The way we know Shiva, and what I always have this question. I have asked this one time earlier also. That in descriptions, what I understood it, I might be wrong. Please excuse me for that. That the nearest form which is being given or which is being described in Brahma, like if you want to, is Shiva. That Shiva is the nearest, that he is kind of nearest to Param Brahma. Is that something, means if you category, there is no category as such, but the description of Shiva and the way the Shiva is being projected to us, that is something more resembles to Param Brahma.
It is
So
just. It is just which text we have read. That's all. There's no doubt. There's no difference. If you see Rudram Chamakam, and if you see Swami Dayanand Saraswati's explanation of Rudram Chamakam, in one word Bhagavan, Bhaga itself, he will bring the totality in that straight away. Just one word. So Namaste Yastu Bhagavan Vishweshwaraya Mahadevaya. So in one Bhagavan, Bhaga word itself, he will bring such a totality in that one word itself. Forget anything else. And Rudram Chamakam, I think it's about 100 names actually, 100 names of Shiva, Rudram Chamakam. So similarly, Vishnu Sahasranama. The word Vishnu itself is all pervasive. That's it. Vishnu is all pervasive. That's it. Only difference between these two, Shiva and Vishnu, is one is pravritti, other one is nivritti. That's it. Shiva is nivritti, giving away worldly things. That is Shiva. And Vishnu is pravritti, taking it in totality. See, you put everything in one place, it's the same. You take out everything that is material from a place, it is the same. Because we are talking about that thing which includes everything. We are talking about totality. So totality can be seen almost as nothing other than the totality. That is very important. Okay? Nothing other than the totality is equal to everything. So, if we want everything, we can go to Vishnu. If we want that thing which is without a second thing, by giving away everything that is anitya, nitya vastu ekam, that one ekam thing we want to go, okay. What is all anitya? Give away everything that is anitya, you will look like Shiva. with a bowl. So that's all. So Shiva is fine with sustaining his energy as long as some bhiksha comes. It's okay. He's fine with it actually because he has to just sustain that body, whatever body is only for others, not for himself actually. He is Shiva. He is himself. That when Shankaracharya can say Tadeko Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham, at least Shiva can definitely say that Tadeko Vasishta Shiva Kevaloham. He can definitely say that actually. So in Shiva, he knows what he is actually. In Shiva, he knows he is the same as Vishnu. Simple. That is how it is. So this is where that spirit was appealing to me more than anything else. Like if someone was saying, like when Ravana was glorified, saying Ravana was a great bhakta, and if we did penance, Shiva appeared before him, he gave Varda. Okay, as a person who was someone who was wanting to do things as others have done, I wanted to do something like that. So I used to think, okay, if I do something, also Shiva has to come. If he doesn't come, I don't believe in him. Simple as this. This is all humbug. So even in my earlier days itself, for whatever intensity I could do, I would do, and I would expect the result. If the result was not in front of me, I used to say, oh, no, we don't. I don't think Shiva exists actually. Simple as this. So you turn kind of atheist to some extent, and then hold those thoughts until the time these are dismantled by bringing it back to the spirit actually. What is said in that, please understand that. And where the journey was coming back to oneself, that's what attracted me a lot actually. And that's when I wanted to listen to it, because when it is coming back to me, I have much more chance to know it than when it is outside. Ideally it should be the other way. Once we get into the pursuit, we see that as long as it was Shiva, I still had a chance, hope that okay, sometime when I equal the bhakti of Ravana, including all that whatever he would have done as penance, I think he was playing Veena, Rudra Veena, wherein his fingers, I think they would have got stuck with that string, and then blood was coming out, but he didn't care about it. Anyway, he was a Rakshasa, he could afford that. But we can't do all that actually. But anyway, the way Upasana was done by Ravana was amazing. I mean, Shiva was pleased. And most of the times we think that gods are pleased when you have so much of pain. That's what one thinks actually. TK, let us have pain. So what is the biggest pain we have? To sit in meditation and contemplation is the biggest pain. The moment you want to sit, you have thousands of thoughts which come in. And the basic there is that please control the thoughts, have one thought. So then my mind has to be trained saying, just keep saying Shiva, Shiva, don't do anything else. Or just keep saying Om Namo Narayana or Om Namah Shivaya or only Om. Keep saying something. So unless you give something to mind cannot keep quiet. Because that is this job actually. Maybe when you're in Sushupti, you achieve that. That mind is completely resolved, you achieve that. But unfortunately, mind is something which wants to enjoy the result of what it does also. So basically, we want to enjoy Sushupti. The problem we have with Sushupti is that we are not able to consciously enjoy Sushupti. That is where the problem. We miss it a lot actually. After getting up, we feel, wow, it was a great experience. But then you want to enjoy Sushupti while you are in Sushupti. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way, because when mind is resolved, there is no more experience happening. So mind has so many things that it wants actually and that it doesn't want. So mind being what it is. So if I come back to this example, if there is a birthday cake, okay, where you have these days, thousands of birthday cakes are available actually. Those days, the cake means only one way of cake actually, no too many dimension and colors. Only one set of color, cut, eat, that's it. Now, when it is cut, I think most of the kids will come and say, no, I want that place where you have that flower. That someone else will say, I want that place where you have the chunk of chocolate in that actually, white chocolate or whatever chocolate actually. And someone also may say that, give me that corner one, that is more than enough, because it may be little of lesser size, so less calories. Okay, each one has their own perception. So when totality is cut into pieces, each one selects what they can gulp. That's it. What they can enjoy, what they can eat. So when totality is presented in parts,
totality is you take any piece, but you are taking a part of the same cake.
Yes, the only difference here is, that's what I'm saying. The only difference here is that in cake, ideally, see, what we want is, okay, any example, any material example for Nirguna Brahman will fall short, okay, of its perfection. But we can only attempt, because unfortunately mind will only understand tangible example, right? So in a cake is not homogeneous, right? Cake has got, first of all, the name place also, if they have done a piping kind of cream, happy birthday so and so. So that part will be in some place only, no? So when you cut, H will come somewhere, PPY will come somewhere actually. So that way totality is totality, but the moment you see it as parts, it will only be part. Any part you touch, it will lack the other parts, normally. Okay? So, in a way...
Didn't get it, please.
You didn't get it. Okay, fine. So, totality cannot be consumed as it is. Okay? By mouth. Here we are going by the size of our mouth. If the size of our mouth could, take the shape of the cake itself, then I think no one will be cutting the cake, they will just consume it. Specifically, the one whose birthday it is or whatever occasion it is for, that person will never leave any cake for others. He can just consume it totally. What is the big deal? So, our mind has limitation. It can take only one thing at a time. So, if you give totality as a capsule, it cannot take. This is the reason, from mind's perspective, it has to be given in pieces, only then it can consume. That's the only reason actually. So, totality can be shown in different models, split into different models. So, when we cut totality into three, you have creator, sustainer, resolver. When you cut that cake of totality into three pieces, this is what we get. In a crux, we can say that anything that you see here, it comes, and as it comes, it has to exist and sustain. And since we know that it is changing, automatically we have to also understand that it is giving way for another form to happen. It is resolving. So things come, exist, sustain, and go. Right? Born, is, gone. BIG. So this is how things happen. So this is one way to understand totality. But we have to understand that we have to see these things together, go towards totality, and not get stuck with only be alone. And when we say, no, I love Brahman, Brahmaji, because he creates. Creation is a great thing actually, and he's the great amongst the Trinity. So rather I would be only Upasaka of Brahmaji, that's all. So this is one way of looking at it. Brahmaji and Saraswati. So you will only worship them. So that's one way of looking at it. Okay, for Upasana you can do that as long as mind is able to fix in that particular form and get some discipline, it is useful. But eternally, for eternity, if one wants to get stuck with a small idea saying, okay, this is what world is, everything else is useless, that becomes a limitation. Because where we start from is set of this conditioning only, and we remain with a little bit higher level of conditioning, though it remains still a conditioning only. It may be a higher level of conditioning, but it's an elevated conditioning. But conditioning remains the same whether it is elevated or not elevated actually. So one has to understand, then conceptually saying, okay, what is this happening? Okay, you have a creator. Okay, is it like, it is like a plastic, where someone creates and then it can never be destroyed? No. Very, very clear. Every world, in that sense, even plastic can also be, resolved. Okay. So thankfully, world can be completely resolved by Shiva. He doesn't have the problem of not being able to decompose plastic at least. He can resolve everything actually. So that's what he is of the capacity. So one has to go towards totality. One has seen birth as or creation as something. He has to understand that as something is created, it is also getting sustained. So it is being sustained by the food. Chanena jivati vinishyati tadvihinaha. So it is born and then sustained with food. Born because of food, sustained because of food. And tad vinishyati tadvihinaha, without food it dies. Simple. So as long as everything can work, any unit for that matter, including amoeba or anything for that matter, comes, exists for some time, goes. So as an observer from a mind perspective, we see that something is coming and going, because this is the beauty of this five senses. That's it. Five senses can only understand this much. But in inquiry and vichara, we are operating the sixth sense. That's what knowledge is all about. So we are using vichara more to do with understanding part of it. That part we are activating, where we have to understand, okay, totality is given to me for understanding, better understanding, by cutting that into 3 pieces, and it can also be cut into 100 pieces also, with many more ideas. But there is one more model in which 3 it is given as a 3 actually piece, and one is Brahma, one is Vishnu, one is Shiva, creator, sustainer, resolver. But if you see conceptually, the moment Brahmaji has to create, he has to create something where something else has to undergo a change at that place. It has to be that way only, right? It cannot be in either way. When you create something, automatically there is some form is being given. So when a form is being given, the previous form has to be erased. That is when the form comes actually. And as these things continue, they have to sustain as well. So if you see in one function itself, you will see all the 3 also. So this is where I think mind has to elevate to the next level. So when we look at conceptual level, then we will find all the 3 functions in one person itself. We will see that. So conceptually one has to keep on elevating. This is the only way where you come out of the limitation of mind. So perception has its own limitation. We can perceive only as much as the 5 senses can perceive. What we supplement it with inference. And inference is a beautiful thing to have. For example, if someone says that just because Earth is circular, it is spherical in shape, we see sun rising and setting. Otherwise, actually, sun is not rising and setting. If we had to have the pratyaksha jnana of this, just imagine. I don't know whether our school education system could have even afforded that actually. Everyone should have been taken to a point by satellite or by rocket to a point where they should be shown that, see, now can you see Earth as spherical shape, and can you also see where sun is? Now don't you think when Earth rotates, obviously you will not see the other side of it. That's the reason you are getting night and day is happening because of that. Then this guy will say, some guys will say after seeing that also, no, I'm not able to get it. That guy will go, he will be going crazy actually. Yaar, ek trip kar diya. I cannot remain here forever. I have to go down also, because I have to ferry some more people for this sun experience and sunrise and sunset knowledge. Just imagine if each of us have to go there only to understand that Earth is spherical in shape, and that's the reason we experience day and night, and sun is not rising and setting at all. If that is the only way to understand, just imagine, it would have been such a bad limitation for mind. Luckily, human mind is so much that it is given inference as one of the endowments. So we can understand certain things even without pratyaksha knowledge. And how are we doing it? What is bridging it? This is where words come into play. Just Shabda. So Shabda as a pramana for knowledge is validated. How? We have just understood from someone's knowledge saying that yes, this is how things work actually, and this is how it is. So mind is able to put 1 plus 1 together saying, yeah, this is possible, and definitely this is a jnana. I don't think any one of us today feel that, okay, whatever is said in my geography book is all fine or science book is fine, but anyway, I still, after retirement, I have kept some kitty with which I will go and validate that. I don't think any of us will think this way actually. We have taken it completely for granted because everyone has the same capacity to infer. In some cases, for example, you have other examples also. In some cases where, for example, if Newtonian physics said that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are the sets of rules, Einstein could come and say that while this is fine, this can also be seen this way, and this is an enhanced knowledge, the next level of knowledge. He improved it further. Okay, in that case there was an improvement. But mind also knows where you cannot improve further and where you can improve further. So that part mind understands. So perception is something which is replaced, which is used to supplement the limitation of mind. Of course, there's the capacity of mind, but the physical capacity, perception capacity of the sense organs has its own issues, so that is replaced by perception. Just like this, jnana, what we are pursuing, is the biggest capacity to overcome the shortcomings of perception as well as inference. Both perceptions and inference have its own limitation, and that is why when we see this through Veda Pramana, that Pramana operates with an unlimited scope, and that is how we are able to see the truth. Something interesting. In fact, I didn't want to share that point at this point in time because people are already in Vichara. There are so many questions coming in. I didn't want to confuse further. But the questions that are coming here is very related to that actually. So during the last 2-3 days, no, during when was it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we were on an off-site actually in one place, I think Ambi Valley. So while traveling, I was discussing with one of my colleagues in the car. So somehow Vedanta also become started the topic, and you won't believe, we didn't know how the time flew actually. The time we were watching out of the window was when we were about to get down. That's how it was actually. But anyway, but the beauty was this actually. So the gentleman whom I was discussing with, he was saying that I mean, he's someone kind of who doesn't subscribe to these things, but he's a vichari. That is very clear actually. He also wants clarity, but unfortunately, he stuck with one concept actually. He knows that very well because there's another person, probably his sibling, has gone into Vedanta, and other person discusses Vedanta actually. He's discussed that at length with his own sibling. So he understands all these concepts. Most of these he understands actually. So his point is this actually. He's saying that whatever may be the conclusion, for example, Aham Brahmasmi, the conclusion here. Whatever may be the conclusion, that one considers it as final because he is believing in the system. That's nice way. Mind can always say this actually, and we can only say as much to say that that is not the case. But then for other person to see that, it will require more discussion actually and openness. This is where Shraddha is very important. So that's where we have to go back and understand, am I accepting something said by a system just because I don't have in any case any other way out actually. I'm not getting any other better information than what is available now, so let me settle down for this. Is that the approach we have? Unfortunately, that is not the way it is actually. So Shraddha definitely is a requirement, because unless Shraddha is there, no one will even touch a book actually, because if the knowledge is available there, unless they know Shraddha is there, they will not even touch it actually. So to that extent, definitely to access the right thing, you need Shraddha. And the right thing can be anything. That's always a guesswork, right? The beauty in Vedanta is this. There is no need for Shraddha after your pursuit is done. Everything is required until the time you are yet to discover something about oneself. And I think he was giving this example of turtle. Okay, so I didn't know that example. I said, you tell what is this. So someone said that world is sustained by a turtle on its back. And someone else asked, okay, then how is that turtle sustained? He said, what is the big deal? It is another turtle. So then he said that how is the last turtle sustained? He said that how stupid you are. That is again a turtle only. What is the big deal? So that was the answer. He is saying somewhere it ends like that. So then I had to say that yes, you are right. As long as it is about a turtle. What we are talking is not about a turtle, about oneself. About oneself, one cannot have the same view as a turtle actually. About oneself, either we understand ourselves or we don't understand ourselves. If it culminates into an understanding that I am very clear about who I am, as to who I am, and I am also very clear that apart from me, nothing exists. Even if something exists, they seemingly exist, they don't really have any reality in that sense. So they are all, ephemeral, they are not eternal. So that understanding when I have, That's an understanding about myself, not any other object other than myself. So my understanding cannot change, because at that point of understanding you culminate as knowledge itself actually. There, the person, the pramata, pramana and prameya, they all become one actually. The understanding, the object of understanding and the means of understanding, all of them become one. So the culmination happens. That's why the word Aikya is very important actually. The Aikya has to happen. Aikya is the output of this entire output and outcome of this entire pursuit. And that is the differentiator between this body of knowledge and any other body of knowledge. So that one has to be very clear actually. I had all these things, but then anyway, the other person should have also the leisure to listen to it. If a person, I mean, the point is very clear. I'll tell you the crux of what he said. He said that he doesn't believe that knowledge can reach a level where it is absolute and cannot be improved further upon. Always we end up into a particular level where it can definitely be improved upon, it can never be absolute. So Vedanta completely differs from this, and Vedanta says there is one thing that is Nitya Vastu, that knowledge is absolute. And how? It is nothing about other than oneself, it is bringing it back to oneself actually, that's where it culminates. So the question is, can we know us completely? Definitely we have a chance. If we cannot know ourselves completely, what else we can know? If we cannot know ourselves completely, what else we can know actually? We definitely can know ourselves very clearly. That is where Vivekachudhamani has equal emphasis on touching Atma part of it actually. That's where it has to disentangle this entire Panchakosha or Shariratraya for one to be able to appreciate who one is, who that person is, and what is his Swarupa. The Swarupa of the person, the inquirer, has to be really revealed much more than the Swarupa of the Lord actually. This is what is more important. The first hand information that I know about myself, so I'm not going to change. So that myself, the changeless self, the moment it is given, that's everything actually. That is how it works. So coming back to Nirvana Shatkam as well as Dashashloki, basically this disentanglement is what is enabled there by showing what we are not and thereby arriving at what we are. That's all. This entire journey is this actually, mind has its own conclusions and they are not wrong, because we didn't create this mind, it is just given to us. We have to see this very objectively. I think then that becomes easy. I mean, if you're driving a car, it is just that we have been allocated a car. I mean, you go to a company, many a times, depending on the levels, we get a second-hand laptop. Sometimes it becomes a used laptop only. Sometimes they will say, no, I think this person may feel bad, so let's buy a new one. Though we may be having some good laptops also, which has got residual life of another 2 years. In some levels, they will not try this out. But in many levels, they will bulldoze this way only, saying, boss, we have to give you a laptop which works, right? So don't tell me that we want with the new wrapper and all. Don't ask me this. So companies, we may end up getting an old laptop. Similarly, we may end up also getting an old car also. That is also possible. Because it is company's prerogative, right? They are just giving it, you can't ask for more. In those cases, we have to understand that we are not that car. Na? That car may be old, but we are what we are, right? So like this, that disentanglement, that space has to be there all the time. So unfortunately, mind creates such a big bondage. It attaches itself to anything other than the gross body also. So beyond the gross body also it creates bondage actually. तो वहाँ से पहले काट के gross body तक लेके आना. So anything beyond gross body, at least I am not bound. So why worry too much about it? So somewhere the sadhana chatushta has to bring to one person. Up to our skin, definitely yes. After that, with the information, basic information given by Sattva Bodha or Vivekachudhamani, gradually Shariratraya has to be kept outside like a laptop and car. Shariratraya has been endowed to us by the system, whosoever be the system. That whatever is the system, I am endowed with it. I better use this, that's all. Just use it. use it for your benefit. That's the only thing. So Vivekachudhamani tries to create that objectivity by saying, these are your possessions, you are not these. These are your possessions. Shariram idam, not aham. So these are your possessions. The moment it says and it gives this piece of knowledge, we can have that relaxation that, okay, Shariratraya, I can see this Shariratraya, so definitely I am none of these things. They undergo a change. The one who is observing the change stays intact. This is the reason he is able to see the change. No, otherwise, a person stationary can see plane moving. And we have seen this movie Speed, actually, I think two planes go together, actually. When two planes go together, there will be status quo, right, as far as they are concerned. It will look as though, they're stationary and then one can move from here to the other place, actually. So it's quite relative. But whereas a person who's stationary can see that, oh God, this is going at a supersonic speed. If something is going at that speed, they can say, oh, wow, that was an amazing speed. But if you are also going at the supersonic speed, you will see another thing just along with you, besides you. That's it. So that way, when we can objectify the changes in our body, the way, hair either becomes nil or it takes a different avatar of color, we can see that actually changes very clearly. The one who is an observer, his status just remains the same. This observer has been seeing this body grow from this size to this size, right? Whatever, he's seen this. The observer remains the same. So that observer is what we are talking about. Unless that observer remains the same, he can never appreciate changes. If he also keeps changing, that will be an amazing thing. I don't know then what knowledge we can give, actually. Yes. What's the question? Any question? You're on mute, Maniji.
I just wanted to see, Sharir is the way you explained, you have a car or a laptop, you spoke about this. But the source of getting this knowledge is through Sharir only. And the knowledge is that you are not this Sharir. And fortunately, there is no way where, like a car or a laptop, that you get a second-hand Sharir. It's like from the understanding perspective, is that the source of everything is this Sharir. To understand that you are not this Sharir. So, like this is
beautiful. I understand. That's the most tricky place, actually. But that's how it is. See, what is actually happening is that which can never be encapsulated feels encapsulated in the body. And the Jiva, the name Jiva is given because it is only Parama. The name Jiva comes in because it has subscribed to the limited status. It has subscribed to the status that I am this. That I am this is the Jiva. The moment we understand I am not limited to this is in me. Not only this is in me, all this what we see, they are in me. The moment that understanding comes, job is done, actually. And the tricky point is, then who is getting realization there, actually? Is Brahman getting realization? Brahman does not get realization because it never undergoes any change. It never undergoes any change. Then who's the one who's getting benefited? Definitely mind is the one which is getting benefited. Ignorance is located in mind. And as Sharira, you use the word nice, word Sharira. So Sharira, you have all the three, right? Gross body, subtle body, causal body, all the three. We operate at the very subtle level as well. And that Jiva is what is not just Sharira. That Jiva is Chit plus Sharira. That's where the beauty comes. Even at the level of causal body and subtle body, minus Chit, there is nothing like cognition. Otherwise, it will be only periodical table. Pure Jada. There is a difference. Unfortunately, we'll feel short of words, actually, but then anyway, we can still use the words. Jada remains Jada. Chetana remains Chetana. And these cannot be mixed. But seemingly we see it is mixed. How can it be mixed? It cannot be mixed. But seemingly it is mixed. A Jada talking saying that, I am Chaitanya. Jada saying I am Chaitanya. Or a Chaitanya saying I am Jada. This is not possible. But there is a possibility. That's where this kind of a paradox, if at all it has to be expressed in a particular way, that is Maya. That paradox, if that's a beautiful word given, this entire paradox is anchored in the word Maya. Beautifully Shastra has given that word because it would know this, that people will get so confused thoroughly that they would want one word. So Shastra has given that word also. It is Maya. Don't worry about it. And what is Maya? It is the power of Brahman only. Brahman is Nirguna. And any rational person will say, boss, when you say Brahman is Nirguna, where are you bringing Maya from? Unfortunately, the situation where Chetana feels it is Jada, or a Jada is finally saying that Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Chetana. Jada is saying Aham Chetana. How can these two happen? For that one has to attribute, no, there is something called Maya which can do anything that is impossible. It can do anything that is impossible. But don't worry about it. Maya is also an outside thing only, not you. So it's a phenomena, you can say. It is just there only. And it's a part of Brahman only. That's the reason it can happen. So the point is very clear that by pointing out to those things which we are not, we get a refined idea of who we are. So the refining keeps taking place as and when we identify what we are not. So this is why, Shankaracharya attempted to give it in that way, which is basically the model as well in most of the Upanishads. So he has told that in Vivekachudhamani, in the Dasha Shloka, very clearly he says, Na bhumir, na toyam, na tejo, na vayu, na kamnendriyam, va, na tesham samuhaha, anaikantikatvat sushuktieka siddha, tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloha. So in the first line, he takes the model of entire cosmic thing, what is here, and all the gross things actually. From there he is saying, I am none of these things, na bhumihi. So he is saying, I am not this Vayu, Varana, any of these things, Earth, I am not any of these things actually. And so I am none of these sense organs as well, or the combination of all these things. And who I am that where at the end of this pralaya, so pralaya means where we understand that these are all anitya vastu, they come and go. We just, through knowledge, we just disregard the material thing. That we understand the anityatva of material things actually. So that is basically anekantikatvat. Sushuptyeka siddha tadeko vashishta shiva kevaloham. So when we sleep in Sushupti, the entire world is gone. There, after everything is gone, there is one witness definitely is available to say that as far as Shariratraya is concerned, everything is gone. That witness I am. Tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloham. Anekantikatva sushuptyeka siddha. Tadeko vasishta shiva kevaloham. So he is trying to isolate everything other than oneself in certain models. So that's what he is trying to do, and that's what the entire Upanishad is trying to do actually. So this is the basic trick. Understanding oneself, refining the understanding of oneself creates that knowledge, gives that knowledge of who we are. And at the point of knowledge, there is a clear disconnection between what mind is and what Shariratraya is, what Chit is. And we understand that Chit is something which can never be touched. It's exactly like space. Exactly like space. You have a pot space, you have a pot of liquor, and space definitely is required to create the pot. There is no doubt about it. Pot cannot come without space. Pot is created and you fill it with liquor. The space inside the pot can never be contaminated or tainted by the flavor of liquor. Air can be, but not space. Space remains Nitya Shuddha. Space remains Nitya Shuddha. Just like that, Chit basically is the thing in which even space happens. Even when space happens, Chit remains Nitya Shuddha, Nitya cognitive. Chit is cognition. So in cognition, you get space. When space comes, cognition the capability of cognition is not challenged. Chit remains Chit even when space comes in Chit. Space is Jada. Okay? Space is Jada. So, just like the way where space gives accommodation to everything, everything comes from space, but none of the things which come, none of the things which are derived can limit space. It can never taint space. Similarly, from Chit, everything comes, including time and space, and then the objects. Even time and space cannot taint Chit. And what is the beauty about Chit? Glorifying Chit so much, we happen to be that Chit. That's where the beauty is. That's all. And the closest connection is for one to understand that one is that Chit. That's all. And the possibility is 100%. 100%. And in the understanding that one is that Chit, automatically, now that inference or whatever it is, no, you can always use saying, once you are that Chit, obviously you are that person, which is everything. Because the moment we understand that from space everything comes, in space everything goes, space is the boss. Space can never be tainted. At the same time, space only is the thing which is the ingredient in which everything happens. The moment you go to the next level of knowledge, Chit is that, because we are a cognitive person, right? Others we don't need to worry, but at least we know we are a cognitive person. Then Shariratraya is gone is fine, but where is this cognitive person? What is that actually? That Chit I am. So that Chit has to exist. So then what is the level of space now? Then we understand that space is subservient to Chit. Space is all pervasive and all potent, but not all knowledgeable. It is not all knowledge. That ingredient is available only in Chit. The cognitive ability is available only in Chit. Now Chit has to be replaced with space, because Chit has all the three qualities: omniscience, omnipotence, as well as omnipresence. All the three. So this is the boss. And this being the boss, is it going to help me in any way? Not really. If it is other than myself. If it is Vishnu, who is Chit, there is no use for me actually. So what? Every time I have to keep on, worshipping Vishnu. So that's what all these Rakshasas were challenging. No. See, if Rakshasas were taught Advaita Vedanta, we would not have had Purana at all actually. All of them thought they are different from the Lord actually. That's the reason they said, oh, what kind of Lord? I will now, question this, challenge his overlordship. I will put all this, 7 grahas, 9 grahas as a stepping stone into my throne. So that's what Ravana did. All these guys were doing. Hiranyakashipu was doing. Everyone was doing that actually. They were not knowing Advaita Vedanta. The moment they would have been taught Advaita, they would have said, oh, you are me only, Narayana. What is the big deal? I am you. What is the big deal? I am Brahmasmi. I am Narayanasmi. Simple as this. But anyway, which Narayana knew, but others didn't know, no? So the beauty is to package everything as Chit, as a totality. And the last point is very important. To link this to ourselves as Chit. That Chit we are. Aham Brahmasmi. Sarvam Khalvidam Brahmasi. Everything, all that is here is Brahman. So put it as Chit. Sarvam Khalvidam Chit Asi. Aham Chit. Simple. Aham Brahmasmi. Aham Chit Asmi. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. That Chit only he is saying. Everything that is here is Chit, including time and space. And that Chit I am. That's what he is saying. Chit Ananda Shiva. Chit Ananda Rupa Shiva Aham Asmi. That's what he is saying. So this Aikya is very important. So what do we need to do to arrive at this level? One has to understand what is the nature of oneself. That's what is very important. Arrive at yourself, job done. Job done. No more class, no more discussions, no more satsang. Then satsang becomes more a leisure, not for pursuit. It's more for leisure. It becomes then kind of a worldly activity. Simple as this. As long as one is yet to arrive at oneself, satsang is a pursuit. After that, satsang is just another way of spending time productively. That's all. Because there is no longer any pursuit. Pursuit is as long as you reach the goal. Goal is reached once. After that, there is no pursuit actually. Because clarity is already there. You don't need any more clarity. After that, definitely you can go after all Anitya Vastu understandings. You can do something on quantum research. You can do thousands of things. Doesn't matter. There, at the back of all these things, you know that everything you are pursuing is anitya, but you have an interest either artistically or scientifically, you have some interest in that, you are doing it. And within this anitya world, definitely this anitya world is useful to people, right, in whatever way. So you can always contribute to society. There's nothing wrong in that. You can get into a research after understanding oneself. But after understanding oneself, it's better. Knowing other things after knowing oneself is much better actually. And you go with much more clarity. Because after that, you don't worry about any of the outcomes there actually, because none of this outcome is going to affect you actually. So that leisure is amazing. So when someone is not given a rating, you see it only this way, saying, okay, fine. In any case, we have the feeling that, rating देने से भी क्या होता था? ठीक है, 20% more maybe money I would have got. That money, was it supposed to come along with me eternally? No. So what is the big deal? Take it with a smile. Now, what is the big deal? That is one way. Another way of taking it is, okay, fine. My knowledge is for my understanding and my whatever, the eternal happiness. But as a person, let me be, dealing with arm's length. So if I am right and I am doing the right thing for the company and I expect that I should be getting some level with a benchmark, and deliberately I'm not, being elevated or given the right deal, I better look for options. World is big. Simple as this. I'm not wedded to a company. No company says, no, you should remain here eternally. No one says. World is big. Go to another company. Now, what is the big deal? So, we can take it either way actually. You never feel stuck. I think this bondage part of it, no, I left very easily by switching companies. and the brands you see are coveted brands actually. Starting with Taj. Okay, if someone wants to relax and enjoy work, Taj is the best place actually. Culture-wise also, it's an amazing place. No one would want to leave Taj if you ask me. But anyway, I had interest more in manufacturing setup, so I moved to Sterlite. It was like from frying pan to fire. That's a different thing. So that's how it was. But then look at the other places I worked. Skoda and Volkswagen, and then Syngenta, Ernst and Young. So many places actually. But I never had an iota of doubt when I had to give up these places. No way I had any problem. Otherwise, I would have been stuck. Many times interviewers used to ask me, how, I think when I was interviewed in Syngenta for that job, one of the foreigners was there. I think it was a Dutch gentleman. He was asking me, Bhaskar, of all these companies, which company you regret leaving actually? I told him Volkswagen. He said, exactly, I thought as much. So he was saying, but it's a huge company actually it is. Such a huge setup actually, and I was also in a good level as well. And to leave such things, you need some logic or whatever it is, and also you need some kind of a, support on the nivritti side, that ability to give up things and take something which is much, much more riskier and not very easy. So that has to be there. I think we should keep on practicing that. And for me, it was not pursuit, during pursuit. It was post pursuit. So for me, it was much more easier also. It was not during pursuit. But if you ask me, during pursuit, the energy is much more, if you ask me, because you still want that. And because of that, you are following sadhana chatushtaya. You have much more energy in sadhana. But after that, sadhana has no longer any meaning, right? I mean, one example is, you sprint before a high jump or a long jump. Okay, so sprinting is sadhana. When you do that, then you can really able to jump. Now, after winning the gold medal, like crazy, I'll not keep running like that. No. When someone, for example, when someone is asking me to walk up to the ramp to claim that gold medal, I will not run crazily like that. No, it is not required. It is not required. So we have to understand sadhana is for achieving that jump. Jump done, job done. You understand yourself, arrive at yourself as Chit, understand that the great thing, time and space is a derivative of this Chit. Then everything else follows. World is basically in time and space. And once you understand your Chit is what is basically seen as time and space, and then hence the world. And that's where the entanglement entirely comes. The moment you de-entangle and decodify this, that's bliss. That's amazing thing to have. After that, I don't need to sprint crazily. But do I have the choice of enjoying that sprint again? Of course, yes. Of course, yes. There's no doubt. Because every possibility is you. Every possibility is you. It's possible. But then the perspective changes. That's it. Superb. 7:31. Anyone has any more point to discuss? Bhavya, you have anything to say?
No, sir. I'm just enjoying.
Great. Anyway, so see, I like sense of humor, so I will always bring that. But finally, this should not become like, a sitting comedy show.
No, sir. The information.
No. I'm just saying.
Information, like the last part of what you said.
I know. I understand. See, this is a difficult subject, so I think sense of humor keeps us going.
Yes, sir.
Right? So, see, laughing is anitya, crying is anitya equally. So, every emotion is anitya. But at the same time, when you have the leisure, two ways you can have leisure. One is during sadhana, you're kind of staying away from any of these problems through alertness and consciousness, through a deliberate activity. As a deliberate activity to keep away from all the distractions and then achieve. Okay. Having achieved, as I said, you just completely relax. You can be this way, that way, whatever you want doesn't matter at all actually, because you achieved what you wanted to achieve. And you can't improve it upon further. But the other way to relax is, once we understand this entire order is Ishvara. This order is Ishvara. I am what I am because of what I have done earlier, and I have been given this role to play. Simple as this. So when we understand that overlordship of Ishvara, what he is doing is right. So many times, we get this comfort through parents. And again, that comfort also that disposition of mind is also blessing. For example, if we know that we have another 2-3 siblings, and our parents have distributed the sweets amongst the other 3 and not to us, one way to take it is that, my parents are partial to me, and they have, disregard for me most of the time, so I get a bad deal. Gone. You will be eternally always in hell if you have this thinking. But luckily, if you feel the other way, saying that, parents definitely have intelligence, and they have compassion, passion, everything, affection, everything is there. If they have done something, it is because of my good only, my well-being only. I have this Shraddha in my parents. This disposition removes all problems. Not that they are happy, because they would also be happy because of this approach of yours. You will be the first person to be happy because of this approach. So just like this, if we understand that when this entire thing has come from one person whom we attribute, either Shiva, Vishnu, Brahmaji, whosoever we want to attribute to, then we should also have the total Shraddha to say that if I am given this body, also given this plus as well as minus, both these I take together, because I know Ishvara is right. He is definitely right. I've got this because I asked for it. If I ask for Jnana, I will also get that. So once we feel that you are in that lap of Ishvara, that is another way of enjoying it. All that you do, you go here, you go to Coimbatore, you go to UK, wherever you go, or you go even to the moon, it is all in the jurisdiction of Ishvara only, no? Luckily, Ishvara's jurisdiction extends everywhere. It is not that, some other religion can say that, boss, please understand, your Ishvara's territory is up to India. So, because we have our territory also here, no? But when they say their territory, they will say, no, ours extends everywhere. So, we have to be also very clear, let us extend our Ishvara's territory to every place. That is how our Shastra has presented us. If that is the case, he has that lordship, right? So, just be in that Ishvara. Even if you don't want to give a form, there is something called a Lord. In that, be relaxed. Once you are relaxed, then everything you can enjoy. There is nothing which you cannot enjoy, because it is him all the way. Sarvam Kalvidam Brahmasi. Finally, once you understand yourself that Chit to be Brahman, Aham Brahmasmi. Finished, job done.
Sir, I have one doubt, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, Now we are all doing this to attain, like, moksha. We don't want punarapi janna, punarapi marana. So when we attain that final one, what happens after that? Like, we don't born, then where we will be? I mean, where the souls go?
See, this is the paradox of mind actually. Mind wants happiness, at the same time it will not let it go. This question what you're asking is from the sense of mind, not from the sense of self. See, a marriage hall will not cry because marriages are not happening. Marriages can happen in a marriage hall. Any other function can also happen in a marriage hall. In a hall, many things can happen. But the hall will not cry because अभी event नहीं है, क्या करूँ मैं? I don't have anything to witness. So hall का बुरा हाल कभी होता नहीं है, ठीक है? तो it is always good only. See, this is where seeing truth as truth is very important. If we are used to being in Bangalore and we love Bangalore and Bangalore's weather, okay, we can't say that ultimate truth has to be Bangalore. Ultimate truth will be what truth is. We have to understand truth as truth, not as Bangalore. Correct. Similarly, if truth happens to be only one thing, Nitya Vastu Vekam, Tad Vetariktam Sarvam Anityam, so be it, that is how truth is. Because in this we start with happiness, but here we want that Nitya Vastu. Nitya Vastu and Nitya knowledge we want actually. Everything is changing. And if you like or don't like, that's a different thing altogether. But Nitya Vastu happens to be Nitya Vastu. And it can be a matter of comment as long as it is something other than you. When it culminates as your nature, that you are that Nitya Vastu, okay? In that Nitya Vastu, everything else is happening. And all these possibilities, that's where Maya is available. You want Maya again actually, no problem. And we are already seeing the impact of Maya. You want Maya? No problem. Maya is your own power, na? Use that power. Again you will be born, no problem. But the only thing is, now when you understand you are that everything, you are not that Jada, you are that everything. Even when you want to become Jada, you can only think as much as, saying it is anything other than yourself, but it's a part of you only. It's a part of you. You can always assume a role of a beggar or even a queen or king. But back of the mind that you are just yourself. Other things are all roles. You can take avatars, no problem. But you know who you are, that's it. So the entire pursuit here is not to avoid janmas. Not to avoid janma is a carrot given at the beginning. Because a person is coming from the sense of pain. To that person you have to say that, boss, don't worry about it. Come into this body of knowledge, your problem will be gone. And if janma happens to be the problem, that problem will also be gone. Don't worry about it. That is there for him to listen first actually. That's more the reason. The moment you understand you are everything, the perspective changes completely, because the problem where you started, now Guru will ask you actually saying, now do you have the same problem what you had earlier? Ideally no, because earlier I thought I am small, okay, that's why it was a problem. Now you can't say at the end saying, now I know I am not small, okay, who are you? I am totality. Do you still have the problem? Yes. Why? I want to be small, I don't have an opportunity to become small, what to do now? That ideally will not do. Guru will go berserk actually. ये क्या है यार अभी? From small I brought to total. Now total के बाद भी problem है, क्या करूँगा अभी? He will say that boss Maya definitely is strong. He will say, forget. You may want to have another janma. Definitely me not. Yeah. Yes, Manishji, please. You are on mute, Manishji, if you are asking something.
So it is like the pursuit is moksha, and the nature is clinging to life.
And the nature is?
Clinging to life.
Yeah.
So it is absolute contradictory. We are on a journey where we should get the moksha.
Yes.
Means we should be out of this.
Yeah, right.
But the nature of the way and this is not only for human life. Nature of life is clinging to life.
Yeah.
From Gigi Visha, that you always want to live. You are, and it is not just human, everybody. But the nature and the pursuit on which we are, is to attain moksha.
Agree. See, it's like this. You're right, actually. See, it's like this. We have the sense of being a subset because we have the sense of a universal set, and that's where we have problems and we consult. Okay, we have problems and how to overcome the problems. The understanding is that you thought you are the subset. That's where the problem is. You are actually the universal set, and this is how you are creating a problem to limit yourself as a subset, as an understanding. That understanding is wrong. So it helps us to understand that you are not the subset which you thought, you are the universal set. Now, after being the universal set, which includes the subset also, will anyone say that no, not being a subset or not being able to be a subset again is a problem for me? Because you are the universal set. So, for example, you say that, I am Fanta, okay, I am orange in color, but this precludes that I can be Pepsi or I can be 7-Up. Those transparent color I am losing. That green bottle is great, I like it actually, but then I am always orange, only one, this color only. I don't like this, only being orange. But I am like orange, what to do now? But I want to be cola, the other one, grapes related or whatever it is, the black one, dark one, or the transparent one. I am not that. So finally they said, boss, you are that in which all these things come actually. You are the universal set. You are all the four. Right? It is, you are leher, not only, only Pepsi. You are this, Fanta, everything, you are that only. Now, after coming into an understanding, say, oh, that's great, I am everything now. The next moment you say, no, I don't have a chance to be, another drink now, what to do now? Come on, you are everything. You are everything. In that everything is coming in actually. So where is the problem you have? So that's how the understanding is. So Bhavya, that is how it is actually. You don't worry. Your problem will be resolved once you refine your understanding and come to your absolute understanding. No problem will be there. In fact, I would be loving to ask all these questions to each of you again when you crack it actually. Then you will laugh the way I am laughing now. That will be a great thing to have actually. Great time to have. Okay.
So thank you.
Okay, beautiful. We'll conclude the session with Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.